Is Tyson Fury the greatest heavyweight of all time? According to many fans, every time I go on YouTube, any social media, I see fans saying that Tyson Fury is the greatest heavyweight of all times. And I recently heard him pretty much echo the same thing. Now, I don't know if they were repeating him, if they're trolling, but it pops up enough that I think that some of the people are serious. Tyson Fury essentially said that he wouldn't lose to any heavyweight in history, which pretty much means he wouldn't lose to any boxer in history. Now, let's dive into how I feel about Tyson Fury. Let's start off with some of the pros. Tyson Fury is 6'9". So very tall. To put in perspective, Muhammad Ali was around 6'3". Muhammad Ali was around Usyk size, if not a little shorter. Uh, 6'9", 85-inch arm reach. So he has a inch over guys like Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis had an 84-inch arm reach. So he has the reach to match the height. Sometimes guys are tall with shorter arms. He's tall with long arms. So he's able to fight tall, be rangy, use that jab, keep you up off of him, keep you at bay, and, ultimately setting up the long right hand. This is a guy who's also pretty heavy for the size. Like Deontay Wilder's 6'6", but there's times Deontay Wilder came in the ring 220, 218 ish. Tyson Fury come in the ring 270 pounds, and he moves like a light heavyweight. So to add to the height, the size, the power, the weight, all of that, he's pretty good and nifty on his feet on top of that. Uh, he does have a long jab. Again, he's very fluid with the left hand. He knows how to switch up the variations of the jab, flick jab, put a little pop behind it, range finder, blinder, all of that with the jab. He has a nice little bit of pop in the right hand, especially underneath Sugar Hill. He's able to set up his power with relative ease. Long, again, with the long right hand, he's very fluid. He stopped Dillian White with the uppercut pretty much. He could hook around the guard, all of that. He has a very high boxing IQ. It's a guy that was born into a fight family. So as long as he knows it, he probably knew how to make a fist and throw a punch. And that definitely comes into play when you see him fight guys like Deontay Wilder and Dillian White, because he's just levels above them skill wise and ring IQ wise. He's a guy that knows how to win even boring fights. With Vladimir Klitschko, he pretty much sucked the life out of the fight, but he was able to control the whole fight, keeping his distance, not throwing many punches, slipping, not getting hit with any big shots. Very similar to how he did Deontay Wilder the first fight as well. He also used veteran tricks. This is a guy who's been deducted points several times. So Tyson Fury will get a little dirty, punch you behind the head while the ref not looking, he'll get a little dirty if he have to. I'm not going as far as the conspiracy theories with Glovegate or anything like that. I'm just saying he will use veteran tactics on top of the IQ, on top of the size, on top of the reach, on top of the power. So he is a very formidable opponent and a tremendous feat for anybody to overcome. So because of his dimensions, a lot of people assume the smaller heavyweights like the Muhammad Ali, the Joe Frazier's, the Mike Tyson, because of Tyson Fury's size, that he would just simply be too big for those guys and he would overpower them. And on the flip side, the guys who are similar in size, like the Deontay Wilders, even the Vladimir Klitschko's, he would just be too skilled for those guys at that size, because a lot of the bigger heavyweights do not possess the same skills as the smaller heavyweights. The smaller heavyweights are typically quicker. They're able to fight at different levels. In my observation, they tend to be a little more even-handed because they're not just using the jab to keep you off you to land the big shots. They tend to be overall better boxers. But again, because of Tyson Fury's size, they're assuming, hey, there's nothing these guys are going to be able to do. My objection to this is that that's not how boxing works. Sometimes on paper, a guy could look invincible and undefeatable. However, in reality, there are a lot of stylistic bad matchups for Tyson Fury throughout the history of boxing. Tyson Fury has looked amazing under the tutelage of Sugar Hill. However, we forget that guys like Steve Cunningham was not only winning rounds against Tyson Fury, but was able to drop him. And we don't rate Steve Cunningham as some all-time great. He is a great fighter, but ATG he is not. We forget that even guys like Wilder, with his crude style, prior to the tutelage of Malik Scott, because I believe he looks a lot better under Malik Scott, was able to catch up with Tyson Fury and drop him twice in the first round. Otto Wallen was able to cut Tyson Fury so bad that the fight could have been stopped at any moment. In fact, other fights with similar cuts have been stopped before in the past. He also doesn't have the resume to make the claim that he's the greatest heavyweight of all time. Uh, and it's not like he didn't have the opportunity to face other fighters to build a more stronger resume. He fought Derek Chisora 3 or 4 times, and no one asked him to do that. I would favor a 19 or 20-year-old Mike Tyson to clean up everybody on Tyson's Fury resume at the time that he fought them. In fact, I would favor a 19 or 20-year-old Mike Tyson against the current version of Tyson Fury, despite the height and weight disadvantage. You know, Mike Tyson is a humble guy. He may disagree with me, but when I'm looking at the skill set, I'm looking at the fact that he has a negative plus minus of 1.6 in Tyson Fury. He's getting hit with 34% of his opponent's power shots. And we're talking about Wilder being the probably the best opponent at the time on his resume. The more skilled heavyweights would land more frequently than that. So that's 34% with the resume that he has. A guy like Mike Tyson, who's able to slip that jab, who is a good body puncher, would get in the inside and give Tyson Fury a world of trouble. Guys like Muhammad Ali, who was able to move very similar, much quicker than Tyson Fury, would give him a world of trouble. And again, despite the height and reach, he's already getting hit with 34% of his opponent's power shots. What happens if there was a guy like Lennox Lewis lining up against him who only has a 1 inch reach disadvantage? Because again, he's getting hit with 34% and he has sometimes a 5, 6, 7 inch reach advantage, and he's still getting hit by these shorter fighters with these shorter arms who are not as skilled as these old heavyweights. And while being able to lean on guys and wrap guys up, that works against fighters who have gas tank issues. These fighters who are fighting more frequently, that's not going to work against them. And Tyson Fury may find himself in a hole because of how many punches he throw around, because of how inactive he can be to set up his offense. And he doesn't have that one punch power to bail himself out. A lot of times when he knocked these guys out, he's draining them first, which is no problem. It's a skill, right? It's a tactic. I'm not knocking it, but he is draining them first. He's fighting weak opponents. Wilder thought he was poisoned, but I feel like Tyson Fury simply upped the pace. He leaned on him. He used his veteran tricks, and he emptied out that gas tank. And once that gas tank was empty, he was able to take him out. But even with that, Wilder was still getting up from all of those shots. I believe the second fight he had to be stopped by the corner, and the third fight he had to be stopped by the referee. But he was still able to get up with Tyson Fury power. I don't think that that's enough to make him the greatest heavyweight of all time. He is definitely a great fighter, and again, I don't mind him being mentioned, but when we're talking about the greatest ever and the greatest of all times, he simply doesn't have the accolades, and I don't believe that his skill set now would carry over well against those more skilled heavyweights who are in 15-round shape, who are fighting each other, who were getting better, who had Hall of Fame trainers and everything like that. I think they would give Tyson Fury a world of problems. He would always be towards the top of the division, but the best, I don't think so.